Howdy all Muglex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. So, still waiting on my gunpowder here to cook up before I can head back. It is Horde Day, which could be interesting. I'm just gonna hide. It's not like I'm gonna fight him. I don't have any of the tools I wanted to fight them with. I do find that I'm level 25. Like, I feel like that's a lot of levels, and I'm still not at the point where I have things uh, that I would like to. I guess it could have. I don't know. It's just a lot of things you have to concentrate on to. I should be pointing this. Get the motorcycle. A lot of things you have to put points into as a single player. A lot of balance goes on that stretches things out more than I would necessarily like. But yeah. So I guess while we wait a couple of minutes for this to get finished, we can talk about Cyberpunk because that's all I've been playing outside of. What little time I have to play, I'll admit it. Over the weekend, I had a lot of time to play, and I spent almost all of it in Cyberpunk. Um, but yeah, it's an alright game. It's My opinion hasn't changed. I don't think since last episode. I enjoy it, but I don't think it's a spectacular game. It's not for me. Horizon Zero Dawn is just like, you know, and I just played through Horizon Zero Dawn again recently, and it's a better game than Cyberpunk. Um, I feel like Cyberpunk suffers from open world game syndrome, which to me has ruined. I must have got an email. Has ruined a lot of games. Um, Now, I don't necessarily want a game where everything is in a straight line, aka linear. But I would like a game to have a story that points it in a general direction. And some games do it well, being both open world um, and have a good story and things relate to the story and the world changes based on what's going on in the story. I mean, obviously, not everything can relate necessarily. Um, but then you got the other end of things where you have your story, but almost nothing else in the game is really related to it. While I am really enjoying the game, I was gonna say thoroughly enjoying. While I'm really enjoying the game, for the most part, it does suffer from the fact that most of the game has nothing to do with the main storyline, and that's a little weird. Like, spoilers. I'm gonna talk spoilers now about Cyberpunk's storyline. So, ooh, I'm thirsty. So it's a game about a dude, right, who gets a chip stuck in his head, and he has to find some way to extract the chip without killing himself. AKA Johnny Mnemonic, starring Keanu Reeves. Um, it's so similar. Some of the things that are in it just crack me up. I'm like, yep, I can see where that came from, Johnny Mnemonic. And there's nothing wrong with that because Giant Mnemonic is a fun movie. Uh, but uh, I mean, it even has the monofilament weapon. I haven't equipped it, but um, I assume it's the same kind of thing. But anyways, so once you once you get through the couple of opening missions, then uh, as you get past the opening, you get to the point where you get the chip and you get it stuck inside your head. Well, then the game goes pretty open world, and I haven't come across anything so far that stops me from going anywhere. Um, I can understand why that would be a thing in games, and I don't necessarily have a problem if it makes sense. I'm not a fan of the this is here because we need you not to go to the next section. Um, but um, I'm really not a fan of here's a bunch of quests that take you everywhere, and those are places you're going to have to go later as well. So there's a trade-off. I need things to be related to each other. I guess I don't need it, but I prefer things to be related to each other so that when you're in an area, you can do everything at once rather than coming back to an area where you've already done all the things. And then sometimes in these open world games like this, you'll do something and it will change an area, and then you'll get a quest someplace else that needs you to go back to that area, but because of the thing you did for a different quest, what you need is no longer available. And it's not like a choice thing. It's well, now the game is broke and you can't go back and do that thing. Um, a good example of this for me is Skyrim. Skyrim also suffers from open worldness, in my opinion. There's a main quest line, and then there's lots of other quests and quest lines and places to explore, but none of them are really related to that initial quest line. And there was a city, it's been so long since I played Skyrim, but there was a city in the upper left hand corner of the map that you have to go to for so many quests. Well, the first time I went there, I did a quest that bugged the city, and so no matter what I did, the city hated me. And so every time there must have been half a dozen quests that sent me back to that city, but none of them are in the same area, and none of them are. Some of them are even in the same building, where you go into this museum, and I'm just like, if you just put these things together, I could have done them all at once. I don't understand the send me back 100 times to a place that hates me, that I had to figure out weird ways to get through the city so I could complete main storyline quest because the game glitched and I was just permanently wanted by the city guards. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't steal anything. I don't remember what set it off. I know I went to jail for it, and then once you got to jail, you're supposed to be fine. But no, I was permanently wanted by the guards, and so it made it difficult for me to get through parts of the game. Um, and so Cyberpunk suffers from some of that. Another weird thing to me that I feel like could have been handled differently than they chose to is the so I'm not sure how much of this comes from the fact that Cyberpunk is based off of a an existing tabletop game, and come on, go down the thing. So now I'm at the point where, ooh, not that fast. Oof. So now I'm at the point where I have my bullets constructing, and I guess I just need to go do some more. I don't want to go in the winter. I hate the winter. I feel like I've hit most of the main roads, though. Maybe we can head down to this one here. So we'll go east or west. That's west from here. And so each section of the city, there we go. Let's try and separate those words. Has a fixer, which is like the person in charge of handing out the illegal jobs. I'm fine with that. That makes sense. But there's no progression between the fixers. And so you just are constantly doing these. Well, I mean, there is progression in the missions because some of the missions do unlock as you obtain higher levels because they are more difficult quests. I think. I have seen, like, it will tell me 2 more jobs are now available because you reach level 25 or whatever. So I think there is some level progression in the missions available, but the fixers are not in any form. Okay, so I need to take this one up and then keep going west. Is that this one up here, or is it? It's got to be this one, right? I'm going to stop and kill this guy, though, because I'm getting close to my level. It's been a while since I got a level, because I'm so bad at staying alive. And so, like, you're in one area, and you talk to a fixer, and then you go to the next area, well, then that fixer's also got missions for you. But the different sections are kind of at specific levels, and so they don't level with your character. They're just whatever level they are, which I prefer that. But it's harder to do in a game where you don't know where you're supposed to be, and you don't know where you're supposed to be in this game. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you what level you should be at to move into a different section because the fixers are not in order. There's not an order to it. It's not like you have a fixer who runs you through the first mission, and then once that fixer's, kills you, which is kind of how the game starts, and then you wake back up and a different fixer takes over your jobs, and then that fixer, you should probably do some jobs for that fixer, and then they'd be like, well, I don't have anything for you right now. You should go see blah, 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 right? That doesn't happen. And so you don't know which section of the city is the next section to go to. And so you go into a section, and the dude will be like, I got a job for you. And then you go do the job. And then when you get there, you find out that the guy is so powerful you can't kill him. I had a mission where they've got these dudes called cyber psychos, and so I had a mission where I got sent against I don't think it was my first Cyber Psycho. It was like my second Cyber Psycho, but it was in a section of the city that I hadn't been to yet. And that dude was so powerful, I could not kill him. Uh, his health just regened faster than the damage I could do, so I had to leave. I think I actually reloaded my game before I took that mission so that I could go and find some other place to work so that I could get up the levels necessary to. Not the levels, actually, the weapon levels necessary, because the weapons are level locked. Not level locked, but they're stat locked. And, sort of. And so I had to go find the levels necessary to get the stats up to unlock. No, I think there are level locked weapons. I'm just at the point now where I'm higher than the level necessary. It might be stats. Either way, it was levels that let me start equipping some of these other weapons. But it doesn't tell you. That's my problem. Is it doesn't tell me where to go. And I don't mean like the quest doesn't tell me where to go. The quests do tell you where to go, but nothing tells you what level that quest is. There is a thing that's like, this is a moderate challenge, this is a highly dangerous challenge. But it doesn't mean anything to me. What's a highly dangerous challenge at my level is different than a highly dangerous challenge because I'm not at the right level. And so you don't know going in, is it my level highly dangerous? Or is it 10 levels above me highly dangerous? It doesn't say. Uh, um, ugh, I hate those guys. And then, they really, I guess it's a story choice, but I'm not happy with some of the dead ends that I've run through because the game is open world, and so the main story missions are kind of lost in the mass amount of things that you're doing, and I'm not particularly happy that it's not a game where you get to choose how you resolve what's going on. It doesn't feel like. And so I wanted to go one route to get rid of the chip in my head. And apparently that route is not the story mission chosen. There's one route, and you get to take it. And so there was no point in even doing some of the missions I did because I had options to go do the other missions, but I chose the one that I thought would be the way I wanted to go. And then they didn't leave me any choice on how I got there. And so it's not an open story, for sure, because I am heading down. Like I'm on. There's the main quests, and I thought it felt to me like there was like 4 options on how this story plays out at one point. But now I'm at the point where there are no options on how the story plays out. You do the thing. Not because I completed a mission and then it locked me into that story mission, but because that mission didn't go anywhere. Um, so, as I've already said, you got chips stuck in your head. So there's the people who sent you to get the chip. Um, there's um, there's the people who uh, made the chip, the people who sent you to get the chip, the creator of the chip, and then whatever the heck is the correct story choice, which hasn't quite happened yet. Well, no, that's not true. At the point I'm at, my option is now to let the AIs remove my chip. And that apparently is the storyline for the game because I followed the rabbit hole, which, like I said, the story's been pretty good. But I was like, okay, so these are my four choices. I can turn myself into the company who I stole the chip from, basically, and hope that the one of the other heads of the family is not crazy like the guy we stole the chip from. That's one route. I'm like, that doesn't sound like my kind of choice. And then uh, the people who wanted the chip um, also didn't sound like the route I wanted to take because I assumed if the people want the chip, they'll kill me and take the chip, right? And then um, I thought, well, I'll go with option number three because at that point there were only three options, and that option was to find the guy that nobody could find who made the chip. And I'm like, all right, that's my plan. I am going to go through these fixers and hackers and net runners and whatever else you want to call them. And I am going to find. Okay, I want to go south from this place. I am going to find him, and he is going to remove the chip. And so I tracked him down and I rescued him, and that led into a whole nother spin-off quest line that um, so there's three organizations you can choose from when you start the game. I only remember two of them. One was Corpo and the other was um, Nomads. And so basically I had to go through the Nomads to get to the dude who made the chip in the long run, and then it turned out that the dude who made the chip can't help me. So that was a waste of a lot of effort on my guy's part. And I don't know why it was part of the story if it didn't mean anything. And I really, it's a thing that as an avid movie watcher who used to watch hundreds of movies a year, uh, I'll bet I used to watch 400 plus movies a year at one point, um, easily. And I don't anymore. I don't have time. But back in the day, when I was in high school and college, I had a bit more free time and used to watch a lot of movies. And so I'm quite familiar with story structure in that regards. I don't mean like in an area like this is the proper. No, I mean like there's a feel to a story, right? And there's a feel for how the scenes fit together. Nice. All right. This is a difficult choice here. I need a point in this because I need to be able to make you can't even make it. This is I should already be able to make meat stew. Why can't I make meat stew? I tried to make meat stew and it told me I didn't have it. Oh, why am I? Okay, I've got to escape out of this and go here. You told me I couldn't make a meat stew. I thought it was still locked. I should have been making meat stews. Wow. I'm an idiot. That's all there is to it. All right, so we don't need the meat stew. So then the next thing I was trying to unlock was back here, and I was trying to get my advanced engineering up. Um, but I also thought that it might be useful if I put the last point into this so I can get 3 items from my plants. Which would get me more meat stew, was my thing. But I think I should probably go this route and I guess just put another point into. I've got to get to Mastermind, right, to unlock steel. Oh, I can't. Look, it takes 2 points. Never mind then. I can't do this because this requires strength level 5. Let's go ahead and put a point into strength then. And we'll just go with that for now because I think better food might help me out. Now I kind of want to go back to my base. I know I spent all this time getting over here today. Now I'll go back to my base so I can make some food. But anyways, so it's a little disappointing to like have like them lay out those choices on how to complete this mission, and then have them be like, oh well, no, dude who made the chip can't help you. I'm like, all right, fine. I guess then what I will do is I will go for the people who were buying the chip. And so I did those missions. And guess what? They also can't remove the chip. In fact, I'm not even sure what they wanted the chip for. That turned into a storyline where they were pointless. At least the chip maker I could understand. He was like, I don't have access to the equipment, and this is a different chip than what I originally made, and so I can't help you because I don't understand this technology in a way that would allow me to remove the chip. You're just a dead man. I'm like, okay, I can understand that thought process. Ooh, this is no longer a road. Oh, really? If I die because you slid over that while I was looking at my map, all right, I guess we're okay. And but the people who wanted the chip, I don't know what they wanted the chip for because it never gets. I didn't notice it get explained. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying I didn't notice it. And basically, they brought me in, and they're like, "Oh, you got the chip? Yep. And we will help you get the chip out, but you have to help us. And we want you to go and do this job. And these people have infiltrated our network, and we need you to get in and stop their netrunner." Like, okay. So I go and I stop their netrunner, and then they do a thing that basically kills me, or almost kills me. And then after that, then they let me see their boss. And their boss is like, we want to talk to this woman. I'm not sure why they wanted to either. They didn't tell me. You know, it makes no sense to me. I don't understand. I don't understand what the point of them was. They want to talk to this woman who was killed, but they believe her ghost is in the AI section of the net. So there's this weird setup in the system where they must have fought some kind of Cold War in cyber world against the rogue AIs who whatever, I don't know. And so they built a firewall between the human side of the net and the AI side of the net, called the Black Wall. And they believed she was on the other side of the Black Wall, and they needed a strong enough signal to pierce through the Black Wall to bring this specific ghost. And they figured, oh, that's why they wanted the chip, because the chip contains Johnny Silverhand, who is Keanu Reeves. And so if they have Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand character, they can get enough of his memory that matches the woman, because the woman was his lover, and maybe she'll respond to it. And that's what they wanted the chip for. And so we go into the cyber world, we try to go through the Black Wall. We do go through the Black Wall. We talk to an AI who responded because the woman doesn't exist anymore because, well, she died and her ghost didn't actually escape into the net, I guess. I don't know. And so the AI says they can get the chip out. And then when I come out of that, I don't know why they wanted to talk to her, but I do know they can't get the chip out. And so then once I'd done that, the only main quest left available to me at this point was to go back and talk to the guy about contacting the corporation to tell them what had happened and see if they would help me get the chip out. And I'm like, whoa, wait. I've not made any choices in this game to really make me want to contact the corporation like this. And now you're forcing my hand, and I don't get to choose one of the other options. You have closed them all. It's all going to lead down to I have to attack this one facility run by the corporation so the AI can save me. I mean, if I'd have known that was the AI thing, I would have just gone straight to the AIs in the first place. I kind of wanted to meet him anyways after I found out about the Black Wall, but I'm not being given a choice how to do this. And once again, I don't have a problem with that per se. But you're pretending your game is so open world that you can't have a linear progression from group to group that would make sense in your story. But then I also don't get to make choices in the quests. Like, why can't you have the fixers connected to each other so that a fixer sends me on to the next fixer in a level progression, so that if I think that I can get past a particular level, I could just skip to a new fixer or something. But also, let me know what would be the next progression-wise I could go to. Like, I'm not saying shut down the quest so that I can't skip a whole quest line, but you could at least have a pointer in the general direction that I should be going if I want to go the progression route. Like, I don't understand why you can't have both the open and progression and just skip parts of the progression. And then, but you haven't done that. You haven't even given me progression. You've just given me random quests in a world that have nothing to do with what's going on with me. And then a set of linear quests that don't look like they're linear because they are parallel at one point, but then you just close off all the parallel options until there's no choice. So yeah, so it's a very bizarre system, I find, in open worlds that uh, and I totally got sidetracked from my statements about movies. My thing about movies was that the game feels like modern movies to me. Is that everything is a scene, and once the scene is done, previous scene's not as important to the story anymore, and it's forgotten. And I find that there are sections of movies now that don't really have anything to do with the rest of the movie. They're just in there because someone thought it would be an interesting scene to have the characters do it, but it really doesn't impact the main storyline of the movie. Most movies I watch, it seems like modern movies suffer from a lack of story progression in that regard. I mean, you'd think that like any of the really big budget movies that we have now, millions of dollars, almost $1 billion, they make, and some of them cost like $200, $300, $400 million to make. That someone somewhere would have sat down and looked over the scenes to make sure they fit together in a way that makes a harmonious storyline. And so you just get these weird, jarring scenes that have nothing to do with the rest of the movie. They're nice. They're nice scenes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was a fun quest line to hunt down the guy who made the chip. But what was the point? Because in the end, his quest line had nothing to do with the rest of the game. The fact that he even exists in the game has nothing to do, as far as I can tell so far, nothing to do with the rest of the game. At all. And that's a little bizarre. I mean, we're not just talking like random scene, random quest. Like, they put time in to make cutscene for this quest. And it's not even something that you have to do, I don't think. I mean, maybe it is like the other quests are now, there's only one main quest line for me. But it's, it's a little weird that, sure, it leads me to a little bit to be working with, the nomads, but I didn't have to work with the nomads, or I didn't have to go after this quest to work with the nomads. I needed the nomads to complete the quest the way it completes, but I didn't have to do his quest to work with the nomads. Like, it wasn't something they were going to do. So, I don't know. It's a fun game. It's just not as good as I thought it was going to be. I like Horizon Zero Dawn quest-wise better. It has a lot of quests, but it at least feels like those quests are part of the world. Um, and because those quests are part of the world, things you do affect those quests, and sometimes I mean, I don't know if they affect those quests, but they at least reference some other things that you have done in the game world as you progress to quest lines. And it's open world. Like, I could skip whole sections of the game that do other things. And even their main quest lines that are in parallel with each other, I can at least complete those main quest lines in their own separate parallel path. There's only one goal in Horizon Zero Dawn. There aren't multiple ways to get to it, for sure. But they don't. They also don't hide the fact that there's one quest line in Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, not that I read anything about Cyberpunk. I doubt Cyberpunk promised, multiple endings based on your choices, like Mass Effect 3. Um, but yeah. And I guess real quick before we go, uh, I just wanted to talk about glitches. It's a pretty glitchy game. Uh, I haven't experienced too many glitches. The worst one for me is getting phone messages after I complete a quest. I've seen a couple of graphics not loading in, although it's pretty rare for that to happen for me. I've only experienced one game slowdown, like where it gets laggy because of everything that's going on, and it was only for a minute. It was not a minute. I say a minute. It was only for a moment. I was riding my motorcycle and I came off the highway into a populated area, and there was just a slight hesitation as the section fully loaded in. And I've only seen that once, that one time. And one of the guys I play with, who's also playing it, not Cyberpunk, but I play other things with him, said that he's seen some T-posing, but I haven't seen that. And there was one other thing. Oh, a couple of times I have hit a moment where the game doesn't render buildings. Wow, I'm just gonna keep shooting left and right at that guy's head. While I'm trying to figure out how to get into a building. It's only happened like twice, and I only had to reload my game from an earlier save once, mostly because I jumped through the invisible building to try and get inside of it because I thought I had broken the game. But it might have been a time of day thing that wouldn't let me in the business I was trying to get into. So it's a little glitchy. It's not too bad for me. The game is fun. I enjoy most of the combat. It probably gets a little repetitive. I really only use one gun, which is my sniper rifle. I did do a quest to get like the best sniper rifle in the game, which I looked up because I want to know if there was a different type of sniper rifle than what I was using because I'd only found the one kind. But yeah, I wish the quest lines were a little more telling me what's going down and a little less just do quests. I have so many just do quests on my list, and only one main quest line quest anymore. And it's not even the quest line that I was working on, so I don't know what happened to storm the facility because that quest line is just gone from my journal. And the only thing that's left now is to talk with the head of the Arasaka, one of the heads of the Arasaka company, and try to tell her what her brother did. So we'll see how that one goes later when I get a chance to play again this week. which who knows when that's going to be since this weekend is Christmas. All right, with that, be better in the small things, lean in the light. I will talk to you later.